Welcome back. Hi, I'm Helen.
I'm James.
And we are global nomads. And in 2024, we sold everything we owned to travel the world full time.
Welcome to part 3 of a 6-part series where we tour around Sri Lanka. Today we head from the Sigirya forest edge and we head towards the Summit Hotel in Kandy.
To get to Kandy, we used one of the hotel cars. Again, don't trust the car services in Sri Lanka. The drive, according to Google, was supposed to be around 3 hours. It actually took us closer to 4 and is only about 60 miles, to give you some idea about the road conditions. On the way through, we did pass the Dambula Royal Cave Temple. This was an area we'd hoped to visit. It is another UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there is basically a climb to a cave. There's 364 steps to reach the cave though. Unfortunately, due to my limited mobility issues, I knew I was not going to be able to do that. So sadly we didn't get to go, but we did get to drive past and see the golden Buddha that sits at the base.
And of course there was the traditional Sri Lankan elephant at the side of the road.
Yeah, we did see some more wild elephants on the drive too. Hey, so today, after 6 days here in Sigirya, we are headed to our next stop in Kandy. So come with us. Hopefully the weather stays nice. There is some rain forecast, so hoping it doesn't rain. So we'll see you in Kandy. The drive to Kandy was reasonably uneventful, apart from another elephant sighting. When you get into Kandy, though, you go through the other side of the city to reach our hotel. Now, this is where it got a little bit tricky. The road, it basically is up the side of a mountain, which is fine as long as your driver knows where you're going. It was pretty twisty. The road is really only wide enough for one car, and it's very steep. So if you are going to go to the Summit Hotel, which is where we stayed, or somewhere close by, be aware those roads are pretty scary. Hello and welcome to the Summit Hotel here in Kandy. It's a very small hotel. They only have 5 rooms. So this is quite different for us. We're normally sort of big chain hotel people, but the view is really what sold it to us. We booked this through booking.com, although I think they have their own website as well. I don't think they had that when we booked because we usually try and book with hotels directly. But let me show you around. So as we come in, it's basically one big room, nice big king-size bed, tile floor, which is why I probably sound a little bit echoey, but king-size bed, nice soft mattress, a little bit of a stool going on here at the bottom, and then over here in the corner, we've got a little desk area. This has got QR codes on for the menu, because they have their own restaurant, and Wi-Fi, so they've got this little cube with all the QR codes on for everything. So a little desk and chair area here. Bedside cabinet with a shelf, so it is actually practical, you can put things on there. Then we've got an extra socket next to the bed. So this is, we're in Sri Lanka, so regular 3-pin plug, just like the UK. Phone. And then coming around this side, we've got a duplicate this side. Although there's not going to be a spare plug here because everything's plugged into this one. But we have got an outlet this side, bedside lamps, little chair, little table for us to have a drink or whatever on. Some nice artwork, some local artwork. So this is actually the Lions Rock in Sigirya where we just were. And I think it's about a 90-kilometre drive, so it's what, 50-ish miles, and it took us 2.5, 3 hours to get here, to give you an idea on how the roads are. The last part of the road up to here is actually very steep as well, because we're kind of in the hills overlooking Kandy, which is in the valley. So the last bit was a little bit got the heart rate going, but we're here. So in here we've got a dressing area, a really big area actually, really big area. We've got a luggage rack thingy to put the case on, nice full length mirror, And then over here we've got the like a built-in wardrobe, lots of storage space, lots of shelf space. We've got a safe on the bottom, big enough to get a laptop in. A little mini fridge, which is empty, but it is cold. Then we've got a little espresso machine. Oh no, it's a Neopresso. I'm guessing that's an espresso rip-off, but it's a little coffee machine, you get the idea. And mugs, some bottled water for us to use, and tea and coffee. And I think there's a kettle, I just haven't seen it. It's, oh yeah, on the shelf behind the backpack. Our backpack's in front of it, so we do have a tea kettle as well. And then coming into the bathroom, there's a little step. Nice big sink. Vanity mirror, which is lit. I think I just haven't got the plug on. There we go. Vanity mirror. Hair dryer. Another outlet over there, another 3-pin outlet. And then we've got the loo and a pretty decent sized walk-in shower. Overhead rain head. They've given us shampoo and conditioner and all that good stuff too. And a whole load of towels. But the best part, and this is really why we're here, is the view. So let's go check out the balcony. So we've got a view over basically all of Kandy. We can see the train station down there. I just saw one of the trains going past. We've got some kids out here flying kites, and we just saw some parakeets in the tree here too. So it's a stunning view. I mean, really kind of a 360 panoramic view, and this is really what sold it to us to come here. So there you go, that's it. The Summit Hotel in Kandy, Sri Lanka. I'll let you enjoy the view.
We're just sitting down for dinner on our first night here in this very large dining room that's equipped with 4 tables and an open air view, as you can see.
And what have we got?
And today, a bit of a limited menu, but today we have salad.
Oh, this is our starter.
And this is our starter.
So, welcome back to Kandy. We're still in Kandy. Those of you that are a bit more observant will see that we are in a different hotel though, and the power just went out. I'm sure it'll come back on in a sec. We moved for a number of reasons, mainly being really that we just didn't feel comfortable in the hotel we were at. And we just arrived here, and as you can hear, probably they're doing some construction work next door. So I'm not sure we're actually going to stay here now either if this doesn't stop. But the big reason being the first morning that we were at the original hotel, there was some stairs down to breakfast, and I took a tumble down about 3 of them. The stairs were wood and it looked very flat. I just missed my footing. I don't know what happened, but basically I went down pretty hard, and banged up my ankle pretty badly. As well as a few other things, but my ankle is the worst. In an abundance of caution, really, we went to the emergency room because I couldn't bear weight on it, and it started to swell immediately. After a lot of tests, it turned out that it's just a bad sprain, although that was over 48 hours ago now. It was 2 days ago in the morning, and it's nearly evening here now, so like 2.5 days ago now. And I'm still having problems bearing weight on the ankle. So they did give me a boot. So now I'm very fashionable in this thing. I've only just started to try and walk on it because they gave me the wrong size, so we had to go back and get the right size. But that's a whole other story. And the weather's been really bad, so we haven't been anywhere anyway because the weather's been so bad. This morning where we were up on the hill, basically you could see the balcony and couldn't see like more than about 3 feet in front of you. The clouds were so low. So it's been a bit of an eventful few days, not really how we planned it to go. We literally haven't got to see any of the sites here. And in view of the boot, we've changed our future plans a little bit as well and reduced our time in Yala to just one night. We're going to be taking the train there day after tomorrow, hopefully, if I can get up on the train. And then we're only going to stay there one night instead of 5, which we originally planned, and then head to Yala, to the Hilton. We had enough points to be able to stay there another 5 nights, thankfully. So we're going to do another extra long point stay there now. We're going to be there 20 nights now. But honestly, because I can't do anything, I'm just looking for a nice comfortable room and a comfortable bed, and some good food. So hopefully we're going to get that there. So that's where we're at. Like I said, not quite what we had planned, but there you go. You got to roll with the falls, I think, is it? I don't know if that's a saying or not, but there we go. That's where we're at. So to add a little bit more about our experiences at the hospital in Sri Lanka, this is Helen and James from the future to just give you a little bit more detail. Thankfully, we did have a guide in Sri Lanka that we had worked with in 2018, and he lived in Kandy, which is where we were supposed to meet him. The day I fell, we were actually supposed to go on a city tour. He offered to take us to the hospital, and knew which hospital to go to. So we went to a private hospital, not the locals hospital, which would have been free. And he knew where to take us and translate for us, because most people there spoke English, but not everyone. So he took us to the hospital and waited with us. It's, like I said, private hospital. We walked straight in. I was seen immediately, pretty much. We were there about 2 hours while they did some tests. They x-rayed everything, even though they x-rayed the wrong ankle initially. And I had to say, no, actually it's the other ankle that's injured. I thought the fact that it was quite swollen would give it away, but maybe not. But it was all pretty efficient, kind of. I did see an orthopedic surgeon. They told me then that it wasn't fractured. We are now here in Kuala Lumpur at 10 weeks after the fall happened, and I did get it x-rayed again yesterday because it is still quite painful, and the x-ray showed there that there likely was a fracture, and maybe a minimal one, but there was a fracture. So I'm actually going to see another ortho next week to try and work out getting this resolved once and for all. But generally they were quite efficient. Like I said, most people spoke English. The whole consult, x-rays, they did an ultrasound of my organs because I'd fallen and hit my back as well. And they checked out my other knee that I'd banged up and my wrist that I'd banged up as well. And the cost for all of that and the boot that I had was about $230 US. Now we could go into a whole other video, which I'm sure we will at some point, about travel insurance, and whether you should have it or whether you shouldn't. We don't, and as that episode turned out, $230 was a lot less than it would have cost to have had insurance. So, well, like I said, I'm sure we'll do a video about that at some point in the future. But generally, the experience of hospitals in Sri Lanka was pretty good.
Hi and welcome. Normally you've got Helen's wonderful voice, but for today you have me. So we are still in Kandy and we have moved hotels for one reason and another. We are now at the Radh, which is R-A-D-H, room 408, and we are still in Kandy, so we have 2 more nights here. So here's a bit of a tour. So we have a standard closet. As you can see, nothing crazy there. And we go straight through into the bathroom. Again, sink, all the normal requirements. It's quite a small bathroom, but it has got a shower. Now the shower has hot water, so that is an improvement on the last hotel, but it does also have a bum gum. Not my favourite thing, but there you go. Decent sized TV. Here's the bed. And the pillows even have embroidery on that says soft pillow and firm pillow. Electric controls, but no actual sockets. I think the sockets might be down here. Yeah, I can see the socket right on the ground. And then we have activities, breakfast included, and we have a mini bar. Now, not a lot included, but no alcohol. So this hotel does not serve alcohol, and I'll tell you that reason in a moment. Tea and coffee, water. Same facilities on Helen's side. Well, Helen's got the socket just there, and USB-A. Very small seating area, and then we have a little balcony. Now, can't go out on here, it's raining, but we have got to beware of monkeys and mosquitoes. In the distance, you will see the Temple of the Sacred Tooth, which we will be going to hopefully at some point. And there you go. So this is 408 at the Radh Hotel in Kandy, Sri Lanka. So we're going to take a quick look around the hotel. The hotel is very centrally located. It's a lot better located than the Summit, and it's right in downtown, so you miss the views. You haven't got the views of the Summit, but you have got the convenience of being near everything. This actual hotel is part of the actual temple complex, and as a fact, and because it's part of the temple complex, it is not allowed to serve alcohol. In the bars, in the restaurants, you're not allowed to bring alcohol into your room. So that's the only downside, if you like, to this hotel, but we really didn't. We were there 2 nights. It really wasn't a downside at all. Great location. If you come out, you can see the Buddha that we're going to go around and explore, and lots of monkeys everywhere.
As you can see, the hotel, despite being fairly small, still had a nice restaurant area with a fairly decent selection for buffet breakfast. There was still Sri Lankan and Western dishes, eggs made to order. There was also a small coffee shop at the front, and then all the other usual amenities like a gym, and even a spot you could sit in a throne and have a selfie.
So we originally planned on a 5-day tour with Saman, who's our photo guide, who we knew from 2018. Because of everything that happened, we only really had 1 day, and the weather was absolutely terrible. And this is the only day it was good. So we took this opportunity as our one opportunity to go around and get a good tour of Kandy. Our first stop was the Queen's Hotel. So the Queen's Hotel was originally a residence. In 1815, it was converted to become the residence for the Governor of Ceylon. And then in 1869, it was purchased and converted into a hotel, which is what it is now. Everybody wanted a photo next to the Queen's Hotel, and it was quite a popular place. Next to the Queen's Hotel, you will find Kandy Lake, and then next to Kandy Lake, you will find the Temple of the Sacred Tooth, which is the tooth that was taken from Polonnaruwa, where we went to a couple of days ago.
All of this was in walking distance from the Radh Hotel where we were staying, maybe a 5 or so minute walk.
While we were sitting outside, one of the guards took pity on us, noticed Helen with her boot on, and offered to put us in a golf cart to take us around the complex. And there was a free service, and it just required us to give a small tip at the end of the tour. So we pulled up in a golf cart. They opened up the big gates, and we went through. We didn't actually go in because of the boot. We didn't actually go into the temple, but we did have a tour around the edge of the temple.
Within the grounds, you'll also find the Elephant Museum. This museum was set up to celebrate the importance of elephants and their participation in various celebrations and festivals throughout Sri Lanka. In here you'll also find the remains of Raja, who used to carry the tooth relic in various festivals and was thought to be 78 years old on his passing. After his passing, he underwent taxidermy and is now on display within the museum.
So of the 5 days that we were in Kandy, we had one day that was actually really nice weather, and it just happened to be Poya. Poya refers to the name given to the lunar monthly Buddhist holiday of Upsutath, which is a civil and bank holiday and celebrated 12 times a year. The significance of this day is that everyone will generally dress in white. They will go to, if they are a practicing Buddhist, they will go to the temple and they will burn incense, and they will go and see, in this situation, go and see the sacred tooth. The temple is obviously somewhere where they also observe worship on these days. So these 12 days, and just happens to be one of the days we were there. This place was really, really busy.
Our next stop was at the Sri Maha Bodhi Viharaya. I'm sure I've said all that wrong. We'll put the text underneath. And basically it's a Buddhist temple in Kandy. It's about 2 kilometers outside of the city centre and sits atop a hill. So basically from anywhere in the city you're going to be able to see the statue of the Buddha. The construction of the statue was started in the late 1980s and completed in 1992. And is a popular tourist attraction there. The Buddha that sits atop of the temple is in the position of meditation, and this is also associated with his first enlightenment. The statue stands at just over 26 meters or 88 feet tall and is one of the tallest Buddha statues in the whole of Sri Lanka.
From the temple, you get a really good view of all of Kandy. You can see the Temple of the Sacred Tooth, you can see the lake, downtown, and even Bogambara Prison Park, which is now no longer used, but used to be the main prison in Kandy. This is a room in part of the temple complex, and this is located directly underneath the Buddha. And all of these works of art have been donated by various countries or various political parties and are on display for you to go around and see.
Just outside the Temple of the Sacred Tooth relic is Kandy Lake. James took a quick walk around here, and because the festival was on, the place was absolutely heaving. As you can see, there was all kind of things going on, various food stalls, there was handicrafts on sale, there was places you could buy offerings to take into the temple and place within the grounds. There was people with various animals you could have your photo taken with. It was absolutely buzzing. We were told that basically on a regular day there was nothing like as busy as this, but it was quite a nice festive kind of atmosphere to soak in. Our next stop was Kandy Viewpoint. This is located about 550 meters above sea level and again gave you a panoramic view of the city and the lake and the Sacred Tooth Relic complex. This was a hugely popular spot. There was a lot of people here, and there's also a couple of souvenir stands and people selling various souvenirs, drinks, all that kind of stuff. Parking here was very limited, so our guide literally kind of dropped us and we popped out to the viewing area and took some photos and video and then hopped back in. But it was, again, a really busy area. Our next stop was at the new Girigama Tea Factory and Restaurant. This is located about 30 minutes outside of downtown Kandy, and here we were able to take a tour and see how the tea leaves get made into tea and the process that takes, and do some tastings at the end.
James Taylor, a British planter who arrived into Sri Lanka in 1852, introduced tea to Sri Lanka in 1867. This is his factory.
Once you arrive at the factory, you're going to be assigned a tour guide, and I say she because I only saw women, will give you a personal tour and explain to you the various stages of how the tea leaves go from being plucked to then dried out, and the various stages they go through to actually then become tea. It's an interesting process. If you're a tea lover, I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. As Brits, we certainly did, especially the tea tasting at the end. They'll explain the various tips that you can have. If you are interested in tea, you'll know that the smaller tips are the most expensive and the most flavorful. And then as the leaves get larger on the plant, basically that's a lower grade tea. We were able to try 5 or 6 different types of tea. We didn't buy any at this point. I did buy some later on before we left Sri Lanka, but at this point we didn't buy any. But there was the restaurant. You can try them all and enjoy a snack. And there was a whole load of other tea-related souvenirs that you could take home too. So how's the tea?
This one's very nice, but it needs cold milk.
This was the OPD one, wasn't it, she said? BOP.
No, so, not. This one.
Yeah, that one. That was nice. Our last stop of the day was at a wood carving factory. I was looking for yet another wooden elephant. I do love elephants, and Saman, our guide, knows that. And so he took us here to have a look around. We were met by this gentleman who gave us a really interesting explanation of all the natural processes that were used to make the different colours on the wood, and also the various types and grades of wood that they use to make the different carvings. We did have a look around the showroom, and there's some absolutely amazing pieces here. There was large-scale furniture to small souvenir elephants, and absolutely incredible stuff. I didn't actually end up buying anything here. I did get an elephant somewhere else, of course, but we didn't end up buying anything here, but absolutely incredible workmanship.
On the drive back to our hotel, we had to stop at this sign. I'm sure some of you will recognize it. Welcome to fabulous Kandy. Obviously, normally it says Las Vegas, but what a cool thing to see. Just outside the hotel, there are monkeys everywhere. As you can see from here, the monkeys crossed the road, stole some food from a local cafe, and then ran back up the other side. They're considered a bit of a nuisance in Kandy, or in everywhere in Sri Lanka, as monkeys generally are, and they can be quite aggressive when it comes to food.
We, however, found it quite entertaining though.
But we didn't feed them.
No. If you made it this far, thanks for joining us on this part 3 of our journey, which didn't really go as planned with the trip to the hospital. I hope you enjoyed what you did see of Kandy, though. We certainly did. Join us next time, where we will be travelling on the Yala Odyssey train from Kandy to Yala.
Remember to like and subscribe, and you'll see our next episode coming up very shortly.